It's really important to me to share what my world is like so we can see that we all have the same world and that we are more alike than we think.
Hello, I'm Rosie Knight in the Den of Geek suite at New York Comic Con, and I have some amazing guests from WEBTOON. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you.
Hello, I'm Miriam Bonastre, creator of Hooky.
And I am Arechan, creator of Love and Señorita Cometa.
These are two just such wonderful comics and have found such huge fan bases on WEBTOON. How does it feel to be at New York Comic Con sharing your work with the fans and with people who love the stories so much, Miriam?
I mean, it's crazy because since I published Hooky as a physical book, I haven't had the opportunity to come here to the States. And I met with so many readers and it was amazing to meet them in real life, and yeah, I'm so grateful.
It's been fun. It's been surprising. It always catches me off by surprise. Making comics can be a little lonely because we're behind the desk just drawing. So it's always a nice surprise when someone's like, "Oh, it's you!"
I love this story. Yeah. And yeah, you mentioned the physical book. So what was that experience like for you to go, into Vertical Scroll, create this story, and then reimagine it again to make it publishable in a book form, in a graphic novel?
I mean, it was a lot of work. Yeah, because when I started drawing Hooky in WEBTOON, I had to learn how to do vertical narrative because it's so different. And then when I had the opportunity to publish it in a book format, I had all these vertical long strips. So I had to remake all the layouts for the pages myself, and it was, as I said, a lot of work, but it was so rewarding because I learned about a lot of narrative again. It was a good experience. After all.
How to do the page turn.
Yes, it was interesting because the book wasn't intended to be published in a book format. Make a lot of improvisation to make it fit that narrative.
Yeah, and you're both going to be on the Hispanic Heritage panel today. Arechan, could you talk a little bit about that aspect and how your comics are bringing this representation that means so much to fans?
I like to create from the heart, and the thing that I have to do is, Latinx culture. I was born in Mexico. I was raised in Mexico. I moved here, and I realized that, when you're a fish and you're in the ocean, you don't realize that you're in the ocean until you move to a pond, and suddenly you see all this culture, all these stories, the potential that you can share with people who don't know what your ocean is like, and that maybe they even have the wrong idea of what your ocean is like. So you bring that to them with all the exciting parts, not only the bad ones or the ones that are overrepresented, right? So it's really important to me to share what my world is like so we can see that we all have the same world and that we are more alike than we think.
Yeah, I love that so much. And Miriam, how about for you, what is it like? You talked about meeting a reader, and what is it like to see people not just enjoy it in a vertical form, but to see people discover it in book form, and to know that for some, readers, this will be the comic that makes them fall in love with the medium?
Yes, it's really awesome because I noticed that so many readers have Hooky like an inspiration for them. Like so many of them are aspiring artists themselves. I always ask them, "Are you an artist?" And so many times they say yes, and it's so amazing because I see myself reflected in them. And with the book version, it was interesting because a lot of younger readers started to read Hooky. Like my WEBTOON readers were 14, 15 years old, and I have readers as young as 8, 9-year-olds, 7-year-olds even, so it's really, really cool.
Has there been a moment that has surprised you in the way that people have reacted to your work? You said it takes you by surprise when, I know I make comics too, so when we're in the house, we're making them, we can forget other people are going to read them. Has there been a particular moment that's really surprised you in an interaction with a fan?
Yes. Señorita Cometa touches on really hard topics and really strong themes. And when a tragedy happened in Mexico, we were all very frustrated about it. And I was reached out to by a couple of fans that told me that they found a little bit of a catharsis and a little bit of hope in my story, and that they wish that it could be in the real world, and that really filled my heart.
Is there something that you're really excited to talk about?
I'm really excited to touch on how this representation is really going to affect like new artists coming in, how it's going to like maybe give them courage to like get into the stories that they want to tell, or maybe to even influence how publishers approach this. Because like maybe before it was like, oh, maybe not as many people are going to relate to this like very Latinx story or very Hispanic story, but now that they're seeing that there is an interest, like it's going to open doors for other authors, and there are a lot of aspiring authors in the panel, I'm pretty sure. So I'm really excited to see that how this panel like reaches these aspiring authors to make them work and pitch on new stories.
Yeah, and is there any advice you would give to a aspiring artist of how they can make that leap? Because I think for a lot of people, they have the passion, they love art, they love comics, but they don't know how to become a comic artist. And I think WEBTOON is very accessible in that way. So is there any advice you would give?
I think the best advice is to draw comics.
Yes. As soon as every time, just make them.
Yes, it's so important. As you said, WEBTOON and other platforms are so useful nowadays, but you have the opportunity to show your art to the whole world. And that's something that another generations didn't have. So don't be afraid to show your art to the world and to share it with everyone.